Welcome to Win at IT Contracting, a free guide showing you how to get the most out of your recruitment agent relationships. My name is Gethin Ellis. I've been running a SQL Server consultancy and training practice for the last 10 years. You can check out my website and blog over at gethinellis.com. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at Gethin_Ellis and connect with us on LinkedIn as well. In this post, we look at the recruitment agent business model. If you understand how your business partner generates revenue from your relationship, understanding that relationship and the business model behind it, it'll help you get the most out of that relationship for your own gain. From various conversations, blogs, articles and other forum posts I've read over the years, I fully appreciate that this can sometimes be a point of contention in that relationship, especially for the IT contractor and supplier. Now, the purpose of this post is to help you understand the process, allow you to get the most out of it and realise it should be a win-win relationship, as in all parties benefit from it. There are a couple of revenue models that I'm aware of that contract agents will use when setting up a contract with a contractor. There's a fixed price contract, in which case the agent's going to earn a fixed rate regardless of the contract value. So for example, they will agree with the end client that their fee for finding and placing a contractor will be, say, £20 a day, regardless of the value of the contract. So they're going to get X regardless of the rate the contractor is getting. Now, I don't think this fixed price model is very common, at least in my experience. The most common model I have found is a model based on margin. Recruitment agents usually make their money on the spread of the contract and the contract value. You could and probably should argue that agents are resellers of IT services. They buy the services for X, they sell for Y, and the difference between the two is their revenue and their profit from the deal. When you contract using a third party or recruitment agent, there will usually be at least two contracts between you and the end client. The one contract will be between the end client and the recruitment agent company. Okay, and the agent will agree to supply a contractor or consultant at a given rate. The second contract is going to be between the agent and the contracting supplier, you, if you're a contractor. The supplier agrees to provide the services to the agent at another rate. Let's call that rate Y. Okay, so the agent is effectively subcontracting the work to the IT contractor. So we can work out the agent fee or his margin by calculating the difference between the value the agent is charging the end client and the amount the IT contractor is charging the agent, and that'll give us the agent revenue. So for example, figures here are a little bit contrived and used really for illustration purposes. You as a contractor might have a contract that says you'll provide a consultant on a time and materials basis to upgrade a database platform to the latest and greatest version of your database product, and you agree to provide services at, say, £100 a day. The agent has got an agreement with the end client to provide someone to provide these services for £120 a day. So the agent revenue is X pounds minus Y pounds, so what the client's being charged minus what the contractor is charging. So they have a margin of £20 in this example, which works out at just under 17%. So the contract value is 120 per unit rate. Okay, that's the cost of the end client. That represents 100% of the cost. The contractor receives 100%, which works out at 83.33% of the contract value. The agent receives 20%, which is 16.6% of the contract value. Now, it's typical for an agent fee to be in the region of 20%, and there's no hard and fast rules around this either. Okay, the margin can and will vary depending on the skills and services being supplied. Okay, the margin could be as low as 5% or as high as 40%. Now, what rate you manage to negotiate for yourself as a contractor is pretty much down to your negotiating skills. So let's look at a little bit more of a real life example. If an agent agrees to find a contractor for a customer at, say, a day rate of $600 a day, okay, and they make an agreement with you, the contractor, to provide those services at £300 a day, the agent's margin is then £300 a day, or 50%. Okay. The important point for the contractor here is to know your day rate. That's quite a substantial margin. Okay, so you don't want to end up in a situation where you're perhaps resenting the agent who have managed to negotiate a good deal for themselves at a cost to your revenue. Now, early on in my contracting business, I may have made the mistake of not negotiating my day rate properly. Perhaps not as severe as the example I've just given, but the agent did outmaneuver me in negotiations, and I ended up making less than I could have done if I had more nous about the negotiating process. But in the end, the agent ended up with a healthier margin for them. But that's business. At the time, I was happy with the rate I achieved, so I was never bitter about it. But just looking back, I could see where I got outmaneuvered in those negotiations. The agent margin can sometimes be a bone of contention for some contractors, particularly if the situation we've just spoken about arises. The contractor can feel the agent is taking their share of what the contractor believes to be their revenue. This is not the case. For a contractor business, the agent margin represents the cost of the sale, and all sales have a cost. Okay, but for you, the contractor, you don't have to part with any money. Okay, it's all taken from the contract that you're working through. Now, the situation I described above might be a little bit contrived, but it's not impossible to find yourself in that situation. However, as long as you know the true market value of your services, and you think through the whole situation from end to end, and appreciate there's always going to be a cost of doing business, in this case through the agent margin, then it can be a win-win for both, well, for everybody. If you want to increase your share of the margin, then you need to improve your negotiating skills. Okay, you need to negotiate with the agent to get the best deal possible for your business. Now that brings us to the end of our second post in our series, Win at IT Contracting. In this video, we've looked at the recruitment agent business model and how they generate revenue. My name is Gethin Ellis. Check out our website at gethinellis.com. Follow us on Twitter at Gethin_Ellis, and connect with us on LinkedIn too.